Millions of people wake up every morning feeling a heaviness that sleep cannot fix. This is a mental and emotional weight that persists even after a full night of rest. Ordinary tasks like making breakfast or checking an inbox feel increasingly overwhelming. Motivation often vanishes before the day truly begins, leaving the brain in a state of persistent fog. This exhaustion is occurring during the most physically comfortable era in human history. We have immediate access to medicine, climate-controlled shelter, and more information than previous generations. This lack of energy is frequently dismissed as a personal failing or a lack of discipline. However, the sheer scale of modern anxiety and burnout suggests the cause is systemic rather than individual. We are observing a significant friction between our biological needs and the world we have built, a mismatch that is pushing the human nervous system toward a point of total exhaustion. For 300,000 years, the human nervous system adapted to the slow rhythms of the natural world. Survival depended on physical labor, face-to-face cooperation, and resting when the sun set. This timeline illustrates the conflict. Our internal systems were refined over millennia for a low-stimulation environment, but now process high-velocity inputs. The modern brain handles a relentless barrage of notifications. We now consume more data in one day than ancestors processed in a lifetime. The nervous system has no mechanism to filter this volume of noise. It remains in a state of constant reaction, treating every digital alert as a minor biological stressor that requires attention. Society often equates success with this level of constant activity. However, forcing a biological organism to function with the consistency of a machine eventually triggers a physiological shutdown. Even when we attempt to recover, the exhaustion often remains. We spend hours on the couch or in bed, yet we return to work feeling just as drained as when we left. The activities we choose for rest often involve passive content consumption, which continues to demand high levels of cognitive processing. This creates a state of fake rest, where the brain never truly disengages. This chart tracks brain activity during digital consumption. Every video triggers a dopamine spike. The brain becomes trapped in a novelty cycle, preventing recovery. This constant stimulation keeps the body in survival mode. The nervous system remains vigilant, processing digital noise instead of resting. By saturating our downtime with digital input, we have eliminated true stillness. In this environment, modern leisure time becomes a primary contributor to chronic fatigue. From an evolutionary perspective, human safety was tied to the physical tribe. We are biologically programmed to find security in the presence of a close-knit group. Physical proximity to others serves a regulatory function. It signals to the brain that the environment is safe, which naturally lowers stress hormones and calms the nervous system. Modern life has largely replaced these physical connections with digital ones. Our interactions are now increasingly curated, remote, and emotionally superficial. This digital shift encourages constant comparison. We measure our real, imperfect lives against the polished illusions of others, creating a persistent sense of inadequacy and isolation. Loneliness is a physiological state of vulnerability. Without the biological safety of a tribe, the daily stressors of modern life feel significantly heavier, accelerating the path to burnout. Chronic overstimulation eventually manifests as physical damage. It disrupts sleep architecture, it unbalances vital hormones, and suppresses immune function, as the body struggles to maintain equilibrium under constant stress. This physiological overload leads to emotional numbness. Passion for work and hobbies disappears, leaving a life that feels like a repetitive cycle of production and consumption. Healing from burnout requires a biological approach. We must provide the nervous system with specific environmental cues, recognized as signals of safety. These cues include extended periods of silence, direct physical connection with others, and regular immersion in the natural world. These are the primary environments where the human nervous system can actually reset. Meaningful wellness requires a deliberate slowing of the clock. It means stepping away from digital noise and prioritizing the quiet, essential needs